Deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Funtime. This is the Comic Relief Crusader telling you to get your morning cereal ready, because here we go.
Wow, what a great opening. Thank you. We are here. It's Saturday. It's a somber day, but despite that, we're going to try to get through it. This is, of course, this is our good friend Keith's mother's her funeral today. And I will be going there after the show. But in the meantime, in the interim, we are going to talk about a little film that came out in the 60s. And Quatermass is a character that was on the radio. He'd been on television and in film, most famously played by Brian Dunleavy, an American actor, over in England. It was British Productions with an American actor playing Dr. Quatermass. And Quatermass is the inspiration for Doctor Who. A lot of people don't know that. But Quatermass is what started it all. And it was Quatermass that led to the idea of doing a character like Doctor Who back in 1964 or 63. In fact, the premiere of Doctor Who was the same day of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and nobody watched it. And they pushed, cajoled, and persuaded the BBC to air the premiere one more time the next weekend because nobody watched it. And lo and behold, the show was a hit. But all again, thanks to this character, Quatermass. And Quatermass was in 2 movies in the 50s, a TV series. Has had many BBC productions, like mini series, as well as ongoing serials back in the day. But they've even done it like in the 2000s. I saw they did Quatermass in the Pitt, which is what this movie is, as a miniseries for the BBC. It did not do too well critically. It was panned. I've never seen it. I've only seen the older films and older serials. But this flick, it really did hit a note with me and scared the crap out of me because it dealt with ancient aliens having been on Earth for hundreds of thousands, if not longer, years. And that's cool, dude. Odd brag.
Yeah.
I've never seen Star Wars, not one. Okay.
How old were you when you saw this movie?
$2 will get you coffee at Sambo's. But okay.
Okay.
Sax is here.
Hi,
hey,
Sax.
Kyle, what's up, buddy?
Giving
How
his
old
video.
were you?
If you're not working, dude, you're free to join us, Zax. Love to see you, buddy. Lord Thoth, all hail Lord Thoth. But this film had a huge impact on me. I saw it when I was a kid. I was like 5, first time I saw it. And
you were so young for so many of these movies.
Well, I told you, I wasn't like other kids. I watched movies that other kids, while they were watching just Captain Kangaroo and Sesame Street, I was watching, Orson Welles movies, classic dramas and
also
comedies.
your dad couldn't leave you with a babysitter when you went to the movies.
Well,
so he
when he kidnapped me, no, it's true. When he kidnapped me, there was nobody. He couldn't trust anybody to leave me with him. And I just would go with him. And the common practice for Dad was to cover my ears or my eyes when I go to see a movie with him. And I loved it when we were watching Serpico and there was a nude scene and they were cussing. And he couldn't figure out what to do. He's like messing up and trying to cover my ears and my eyes at the same time. It was hilarious. And I'm like,
now we know why you're so well adjusted, Gary.
I do believe it did make me the way I am, which is well adjusted. Nothing really phases me.
I have similar upbringing. My parents let me watch certain movies and content, and they would just explain to me, and that's it.
Yeah.
There would have been such a simple solution for your dad, though. Just make little Gary wear a hat, and when there's a scene, you pull it down so he can see and cover his ears. There.
That would have required some pre-thought.
Yeah.
Look, my dad was a genius. He really was. On paper, he was a genius, but he did a lot of stupid shit.
I can relate to that.
So I needed to check something real quick here. Mexican Iron Man, because a lot of people aren't really understanding what he did over the last couple weeks, because Doomcock and Cameron are talking about one thing. What he did with Valiant Renegade is he went on paper and showed how much Disney has. He's an accountant, and he sat down and showed everybody all Disney has right now, liquid assets, is $200 million. You can't even make a movie on that right now. Disney's in trouble. And so I was doing a post about that to remind people that it was, Mexican Iron Man that discovered that. And for some reason, I can't tag him anymore. He follows him. And when I do the @ symbol and put Mexican or Iron Man, nothing. So I go, Mike.
Maybe he has deactivated that.
Canal,
I don't know if
nothing.
you can do that. But...
I can't tag him even on his name.
Well, I tried to do it, and I have no problem.
By the way, I'm the one that brought to everyone's attention about the accountant from before. The one with the $2 billion that, who basically ended up suing Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that up. I'm the one who brought it up to Cameron. More importantly, people keep forgetting it was $2 billion for 2 years in a row. So it's like there's a $4 billion hole, supposedly, according to this woman.
Yeah, I don't have any doubts on that. But anyway, I also got a message from Brian. It sounds very cryptic. We need to talk, mate. And I'm like, oh, that means he's probably going to have to leave Thursday's show. It sounds like so. But timing might be right, because Keith's, because of his mom passing, he really needs this channel. He needs to, it's an outlet for him doing this stuff. And he has been stifled dealing with family stuff for so long that he just pops on twice yesterday. Do you see that? Because he needs an outlet. And I talked to him last night, because we spent all afternoon and evening together yesterday. He came by. John came by too, by the way, Dust Wolfen. And we all hung out all afternoon and evening. They were here till after 11 o'clock.
Man, I wish I hadn't fallen asleep. I could have joined via StreamYard.
Yeah, it was guys doing guy stuff. We were just talking guy stuff. You wouldn't have enjoyed that at all. It was all fun and games until Don came home. Until we got quiet. But no, and I told Keith, I said, look, man, you need the show. And he says, I do. I need to do this. It helps him. It's very fulfilling for him to do these shows with me, and it's been killing him being away. So if Brian has to step away, and I understand it, man, it's difficult to do these shows. I'll just ask Keith if he wants to slip back in. Otherwise, we're not going to have any shows on Thursday, so I'm not doing it. I can't.
Keith will do it, Gary.
I don't know. I mean, it's all up to Keith. It's up to Keith. I'm hoping so. But that's if Brian really is leaving. I could be misreading the situation. Who knows? I just tend to, when somebody says something a specific way to me, I can usually tell that that's not going to be good news.
Oh.
That's
I could do the show. We just turn it into a contest show. I do the show, and the people write in the comments what they think I said.
Well, there you go. I was thinking that would be fun to do, and you actually went there, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. See, I like that.
Hi, Redshirt.
Hey, Redshirt's here. What's up? I'm looking, and I am not seeing him in my
Penny
latest notifications. Did he like?
Oh, Sax, you lazy bastard! He
Twitter?
prefers to go in the pool to coming on the panel. Fuck you, Kyle.
Fuck you, Kyle. Play the video. Fuck you, Kyle.
I'm on it.
Oh my god.
By the way, I saw that movie last night.
And nobody ever forget that Kyle's son is the one that hacked our chat.
Well,
here we Jesus, go. Yes.
Yeah, here we go.
I remember that. Yeah, you had to put him on timeout.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
That was it.
Hey,
fuck you, Uncle Kyle.
That was so funny when his son got a hold of the mobile phone and fucked everything up. Chat started spamming.
You know, we have a love message for you too, Shanatsky, right?
Oh, of course.
Well, Kyle gets his video and you get your own banner. I cannot find anything from Mexican Iron Man to even go grab his
That's weird.
This is really strange. He's always in my fucking notifications. Did he turn off his count?
Who?
Mexican Iron Man.
No.
I'm going to go to messages.
I don't know why you and Sax are having problems because I can find him. I can search for him. I can tag him. Tag. Oh my god.
I have to go to fucking his fucking page to get his tag. There we go. How much Disney has to spend. There we go. Jesus Christ. All of that for just one little tiny post. So if I stop talking, nobody talks. Okay.
No, I'm checking if I can find him.
Dead fucking silence. Are you kidding me? Decepticons favorite comics and toys is here too. Look at that.
Dude, I didn't even want to be here, but you started crying when I said I wasn't going to be on the panel, so I stayed.
Don't exaggerate. I've told you 1,000,000,006 times to stop exaggerating.
I'm a woman. I have
that
to.
That was an exaggeration, Gary.
I know.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. I got that from Steve Martin. Another Steve Martin joke I loved. He's like, I've told you 1,000,000,006 times. Stop exaggerating. Oh man, let's get this video up on screen. This is a classic Hammer film. I didn't bother with the subtitles. It's just this is really, in my opinion, more of a visual story, despite all this sci-fi. By the way, this isn't a real London street. This was on a British movie set.
Yeah. By the way, Gary, do you want to explain what a Hammer film is for those that don't know?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Hammer they were the revival studio for classic Universal horror. Universal allowed them to make the Universal monsters again, starting with Oliver Reed as the Wolfman. And then they made Dracula, they made The Mummy, they made Frankenstein, a lot of Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And this is classic. And what's really great about these classic films is over in Britain, if it had too much boobs and gore, it got an X rating, what we would be an R here. And which was like apparently a badge of courage in Britain. Hammer was proud of it constantly getting X ratings for its movies. And in this one, as I recall, I don't think it got an X rating. Because there's no nudity or graphic language. Everything is psychological in it, dealing with these creatures, what's happening to people. And Hobbs End doesn't exist. There is no Hobbs End. But Hob is another name for the devil. And they discovered
it. Just a point here. In the Mouth of Madness, that's the name of the town. Hobbs End.
Hobbs End. Well, Shanatsky brought it up that there was another film that was by John Carpenter that felt clearly inspired by this film. It's Prince of Darkness. It was part of Carpenter's apocalyptic trilogy. And but then you bring up the other film, Hobbs End, And Hobbs In is clearly another nod to this fucking movie. So it's not just guys like us that like this movie. John Carpenter clearly was inspired by classic Hammer movies. And here's one of your classic English actors right there. He was almost everything until he died. That guy was in so much British productions. It was ridiculous. But the actor is not very well known who plays Quatermass in this. He's more of a bit actor, but he gets a really lead role in this, and he nails it. And he really does look like Sean Connery's Henry Sr. from Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. Same hat, same hairline.
Well, that whole generation, right? They were influenced by Hammer. I mean, you even got references to Hammer in Lord of the Rings.
Yep. And Hammer really was the savior for Universal at the time, because they were losing money hand over fist. They couldn't figure out how to make money off of their Universal monsters, who they put so much money into. And by leasing it out to Hammer and then getting the right to release it in the United States for Hammer,
hey,
they
Mike,
made a ton of money.
Jump in, man.
Hey, Mikey, yeah, invite him in.
One thing I do appreciate with this movie is they take their time.
Yes. It goes, the two first act go very slowly, and then all hell get loose.
Well, what's going on is they're digging a new tunnel for the underground, the British Underground. And in the process, they discover an ancient man, ape man, caveman. But they find more than that. Eventually, while they're digging here, they discover a larger object. And immediately, because a lot of people don't know this, that there are still problems to this day with unexploded bombs in England. They'll still occasionally be found. By the way, you can tell that's a set. Look at that. It doesn't even look like a real street.
They thought it was a German bomb, right?
Yeah, they thought it was a German unexploded bomb. Yeah. And so they bring in bomb disposal. And they're like, Mike, this thing's too big for a bomb. And then they discover it's not magnetic. It's metal, but not magnetic. So, because they try to put a stethoscope to it that's magnetic, and it just slides off.
And does not corrode.
And it doesn't corrode. That's the other creepy thing about it. And so really they follow, this story follows the logic of what would really happen if something like this was discovered in the underground like that. They would automatically assume it's unexploded ordnance. Well, maybe it's a craft then, a plane or something experimental. We don't know. And that's the process that's going on here. The problem is General Veers.
Yes, General Veers
is one of the major. He's not the bad guy, but he's a heavy in the movie.
He's an antagonist.
And General Veers, of course, is from Empire Strikes Back.
And was Donovan.
He was Donovan in The Last Crusade. That's right. Same actor. His name is Julian Glover. And Julian Glover is a great actor. And he plays a military officer at odds with the scientists. And he's treating it as this one thing. And they're trying to tell him, this is not what you think it is. And this could be bad.
He also reminds me of the Major in the old Doctor Who series.
He actually looks a lot like that guy. He does. But was Julian Glover in Doctor Who at any point? I would not be surprised, because he was around at that time.
I mean, they had pretty much every British actor's been on Doctor Who, or at least every major one, as far as I know.
I'm going to look it up real quick.
But I'm just going, it's just like his particular demeanor and his whole thing of like, I'm going,
he's still alive, by the way.
Reminds me a lot of the Major.
Oh, there he is. That's that's Quatermass right there. I like his performance as Quatermass. I like him much better than Brian Dunleavy's.
How old is the guy?
Julian, he was born in 1935, so he's close to 80.
You have General Veer standing beside a guy that enunciates just like Peter Cushing.
There he is. There's Julian Glover. He's been an actor for over 50 years, man. and he's still going. He was on House, not was it House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones? He's on one of them. I think it was Game of Thrones. I think it was Game of Thrones.
So too, yeah.
But I'm going back to see if he's on Doctor Who.
You see, Dr. Jones.
He was. He was in 8 episodes of Doctor Who. Season 2, episode 22 of The Lion, 1965. Episode 23 and 24 and 25. That was it. He was in 5 episodes from season 2.
Question
And that's
is,
with the original Doctor.
question is, was he a baddie?
Counts. I don't know.
That is a beautiful car.
I don't remember
Yeah.
watching those episodes, so I don't know if he was a good guy or a bad guy.
I love cars from that period. They
Yes,
look so good. My dad collects cars and he likes old timers too.
Glover really looks good in a uniform. That's why he always plays officers.
Well, it's not difficult to look good in a uniform.
Now, that question, does Clay Underground actually look like that? Because I'm not entirely sure.
It depends.
My
of the
question
soil.
is, would a skeleton look like that after being in clay for so long?
Of course not.
No.
No.
I had so many issues with this movie. I did not like it.
Well, it was more of a budget constraint than anything else.
Yeah. Very shot on a very shoestring budget. So he was also in 4 episodes with Tom Baker in season 17.
Nice.
He played Count Scarleone in the City of Death series. So there you go, man. Julian Glover's been in a lot of good stuff, man. And being a British production, this has that feel of a British production to even the British people, because there's nothing more familiar than the Underground, because everybody took the subway, or they call it the Underground.
Monkey G is comparing pears to apples. Renfield is a silly, fun comedy. This is
trying to be very serious and very realistic for what it is. Thus,
it's a completely different thing, and the things that she calls it out on, and it's true. I'm not going to deny it. It's true. It's like if you were to find those things in there, they would have. It wouldn't be in mud. It would have been in clay, and it probably would have been very deteriorated. It still would have had flesh or fleshy stuff.
It would be mummified, because they find.
But if it was completely airtight, it would have been mummified. Yeah. It had to have 0 oxygen. But if it's wet with clay, there's a chance it wouldn't be mummified. It would still decompose.
Well, basically, it's one of the movies where you check your brain on the door.
It is, and I told you that. I'm glad you remembered that. Check when it comes to the science, because they really do try to pay attention to some science in this. Because it is science fiction, and they're onto something. This is the interesting thing here. You start seeing all these claw marks in a house right across the street, and you begin to hear these stories about Hobbs End, that there would be these visions. People would see things.
Yeah, there were one or two things that never. They started an idea, but never have a payoff. Not an explanation.
Yeah, they never go. Yeah, I think that's important in good science fiction and horror. You don't have to explain everything. And in this one, they discover all these claw marks that people were going insane around the neighborhood. And this is one spot where people were so crazy they were clawing at the walls because of apparent apparitions.
Hey,
and of course, World War II there, see that Kilroy was here. See it on the wall?
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm watching Kelly's Heroes all over again.
all over again.
Yeah.
I can't recall. I think there may have even been one of those in Band of Brothers, because it was American GIs that were doing that. And there's a clear confidence. Yeah, look at him. Totally Henry Jones, Dr. Henry Jones. And I don't think that's accidental.
No, it's not. It's not. Even the suits are in the same style.
Tweed, yeah. With the vestment, with the, what do they call it? Waistcoat.
And a bow tie.
Yeah, wasn't that just the fashion back then?
What's that?
Wasn't that just the fashion back then?
Not really. Usually, your educated types dress that way. They thought it was cool, which meant it wasn't.
Okay.
And the skull right here is actually correct. I thought that was interesting. But one of the coolest things in this, it was also in the miniseries from the 1950s, when they did the film as a miniseries, the alien creatures. And I like the creatures the way they're sculpted for this. But once again, they're on a budget, so they weren't articulated. They're usually solid molds, but still, they look cool. And there to the right is the sculpture they did of what the early man looked like there in Hobbs Lane or Hobbs End. He looks so serious.
Very ape-like. That creature, I mean, not him.
Yeah, and that gets explained a little further in the film.
And of course, the actor playing him is Andrew Keir. And I don't really remember him from anything else. Do you remember him from anything?
Nope.
He was in a lot of... Okay, he was in the 2 Doctor Who movies with Peter Cushing. He was in several other Hammer films that I don't remember him in. Blood of the Mummy's Hand, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, which was one of my favorite Christopher Lee Dracula films. I don't know what he played in that. I wouldn't be surprised if he was Van Helsing, because there are a few Van Helsings that weren't played by Peter Cushing. No, he played Father Sandor in that. I guess there was no Van Helsing in Prince of Darkness. I thought there was.
And he looks like Connery with that.
Yeah, right? That's what I said when I saw him for the first time. That could be Connery if I didn't know it better.
I think it's funny how in this scene he's dismissing her the entire time, and she just keeps on ringing. It's like, are you sure this isn't relevant? There was this thing, and there was that. And
I really do like the ship that they had in this. It's really cool looking.
Dude, that shit doesn't look like a missile.
That part with
there was a lot of experimental German stuff, and so they're clearly they're thinking this must have been something experimental that they were working on.
Yeah, a non-magnetic metal that is impervious to everything. You apply fire for 5 minutes and it's still cold. But
yeah,
no, it's German.
It doesn't only burn.
They really try to destroy it. Yeah.
Right here. This is where they're heating it up, and it's still cold to the touch.
Yeah, they burn the shit out of it, and it does nothing.
Actually, a lot of this stuff with the ship actually kind of reminds me of The Thing, like what happened with the Swede.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it really does. And it does harken back, because the original story of this, I think, was from 1952. The first time this story was told, Quatermass in the Pit. And I believe wholly that it was inspired by what happened with The Thing, both the movie and the book. Who goes there? He always looks like, this is not good. He's always got that look of, this is really bad. Now, I'll tell you, if you go back and watch the 2 films with Brian Dunleavy, you definitely get the feel of Doctor Who. This is less Doctor Who like. He's more stern and more serious about everything. Whereas in the earlier stories, there's a bit of cheekiness to his character.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Who Goes There was August of 1938 was when it came
38 out. Was when the book, novella was released. And if you go read that, by the way, I have several copies of it. If you need a copy of it on my computer, so I'm never out, because sometimes you just want to go back and reference something. There are so many common threads with John Carpenter's version. There are actual scenes right out of the again with the claw marks.
Blair's cabin.
Oh, here we go. The circles.
The pentative.
The penitent man.
The pentagram.
No, pentative.
No, pentagram is spiky.
The pentagram man.
Hey, there's a pole for pole dancing.
Of course, Gary's mind immediately goes to pole dancing when he sees a pole.
Nothing like a bunch of toothless limeys dancing on a pole. Oh, Andy Morrow's here for that joke. Yay.
Hi, Andy. I apologize for the jerk. He can't just not do it.
I'm a jerk all the time.
You're our jerk, though, Gary.
I find it funny, like with in the past, women I've gone out with, I'll go to a party and someone will inevitably ask him, is he like this all the time? And they'll go, oh, he's always like this. He's just quieter at home. But yes, he's a jerk.
I have been asked that. If you were like that when it's just the two of us. Yes,
I find funny how the dynamic between the military man and the scientific man is reversed in this movie. Normally, the military man
scientist is the idiot. Because they're so worried about, Malcolm said in Jurassic Park, you're so concerned if you can do the thing, you don't ask, should you do it? And that's been in the history of science and sci-fi. So often the scientists are so preoccupied with discovering something that they aren't considering the ramifications of it. And this is the opposite of that. The military is wanting to do a bunch of stupid shit, and the scientists going, you might not want to do that. You don't know what you're dealing with here. This is energies beyond your understanding.
Hey, Lady V.
And welcome. We do have a magnetic moment. Isn't there a magnetic moment coming up here? Or is that later?
Later.
When
and it's telekinetic.
It becomes like a giant super magnet and everything just goes flying towards it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought it was telekinesis.
I think that's in the last third.
Is it? I can't remember where. But you watched it just today, so it's fresh in your mind. I like that. Oh, Lady V is here. Lady V says, "Hey, Saturday bitches."
Actually, the thing I find the most implausible in this entire movie is actually the memory machine where they just constantly connect the memories and they convert to video for people to watch.
Yeah,
it was hokey. That was hokey.
Well, I have read that there's something like that in progress right now.
No, they actually do, where because you can actually tell what people are dreaming about now. You don't get true vision, but you have a general idea of what they're dreaming about now. And it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, but this is now in comparison. This is
this is 1960 science. They were nowhere near to that. But they needed to create something. It's part of it's one of the Deus Ex Machina things. It's like, we need something to represent because we can't afford to do an actual flashback. So we can do a cheaper effect if we do it as something he's seeing and give it a dreamlike blurred quality.
Besides, they need to show that imagery to people that is not sharing the vision.
Yeah.
Hi, Penny.
Penny's here. Hi, Penny.
I hope you.
Peter Vickman Fansite's here too. What's up, Vickman's girl? I guess we can say the gang's all here.
Well, if I had to put this entire movie is like a mashup of Lovecraft, pulp science fiction, and serious science fiction all at the same time.
And again, like I said, this isn't an actual street. They shot this on the movie set. I can't remember Shepperton or where it was, but they had a mock-up of a city. It's sort of like Warner has a mock-up of brown houses. I mean, what do they call them? Brownstone houses and stuff. They got all that shit set up so you can shoot the New York streets. It's where they shot Blade Runner. Is on the Warner one, but Fox, all the major studios have them, and apparently in England they have it too. And this is one of those sets because British Works would not allow them to do anything in a real subway, much less even an entrance.
Yes, you are right, Lady B.
Totally different.
Well, the character's age is also. I mean, would there be a Quatermass in this day and age?
Yes, there could be, but it would be if they were to do this story. I know exactly how I would do it. It would be ancient aliens, and I would definitely have it petrified and or mummified, not in mud and clay. That'd be weird.
No, you'd want it in case maybe it's like petrified.
Well, I would probably have it in a cavity, not in solid earth.
Racing.
Jesus.
You really reach for that one with cavity.
Yeah.
He really reached around for that one.
That almost counts as a backdrop reach for Martin here.
Almost.
Yeah, but our breaches doesn't count. That's unfair. You have some good ones anyway.
I definitely know that the I don't know if they'd have them be from Mars. They'd probably have them be from somewhere outside the galaxy because we know actually you could because it's 5 million years ago. That's right.
Hey, look who's here.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Brian.
Good afternoon, my friend. What the hell?
How you doing?
We both went through it at the same time.
Yeah.
Orders.
Hey, rock. Brian. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you. How are you? I had to come in because I do love Quatermass.
Yeah, this is such a classic fucking movie, dude.
Yeah. So pleased you're doing it, mate. Yeah.
And I was talking about how British Works would not allow them to use a real subway, so they went to the movie set. I don't know if this was Shepperton or where they was, but this whole thing is like the Warner Brothers
MGM's
backlot. It's the British version, but I got to be honest, the street really looks fake. Even though I know it's a movie set, it's like it just proves again how shitty the budgets were on British productions.
It was MGM Studio, Gary.
Oh, was this shot at MGM Studios here in London?
Yeah, yeah. Due to lack of space.
Why is it so bad? Because that street looks really bad when you look down the street.
The budget would still be the equivalent of the budget for snacks on an American movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love this scene where he touches it and it starts falling apart.
That was cool.
And I remember as a kid, this freaking me out the first time I saw this. I think I was 7 years old when I saw this. And those things freaked me out. The honeycomb thing, just that whole thing. I love the sculpture. And what freaked me out later, Brian, was learning that the top right here is actually their mouth. I thought they had beaks. That's their chins.
I always thought that too. Yeah.
I thought those were beaks. And then I saw a close up and I'm like, oh my God, those are teeth up here. Oh, now I don't like them at all.
Oh man, you were a skittish kid.
Long, spindly legs. That's all I'm going to say.
But Julian Glover is so good in this.
I know, isn't he good? Yeah, he's a much overlooked actor in many ways.
And he has a connection because this, this, being from Britain, that Quatermass is the quintessential inspiration for Doctor Who. And
very much, yeah.
He had radio drama, they had a TV serial, and then they had 2 movies with an American actor, oddly, Brian Dunleavy, shot in Britain by the British production crews with an American actor. I always thought that was queer that they did that.
It is, but you're right. Doctor Who borrows heavily or is inspired heavily by the earlier Quatermass, and Julian Glover was in Doctor Who several times.
Right. He was in 2 seasons. He was in season 2 with Hartnell, and then later with Baker in season 17.
That's right. Yeah.
This statement from Lady V is really on point.
I will say, though, the lower the budget, the harder the actors have to work to compensate. Absolutely true. You look at how well done the first Evil Dead was.
Yeah, low budgets really bring out the creativity of directors.
I mean, they had claymation monsters in it. It was really bad, but it's a movie that gets under your skin. And I've always said, anybody who thinks it's hokey, watch it alone and in the dark by yourself in the middle of the night.
Scared the shit out of me as a kid when I first saw it on TV in the 60s.
And there's a similarity because you look at this. This looks so hokey with the green slime coming out of them. And look at the flash marks. Do you see that? Pause that. Oh, go back one frame. Because you can see the flash mark. You can see it there. The flash marks from the mold.
I like the Johnny Walker advert on the wall in the back.
Yeah. You can see where the seam line is. Stop it right there. See the seam line along the legs? And that looks like fins sticking out. Those are flash marks. That's what you get when you're making things with molds. You'll sometimes have something that will seep through part of the mold into the crevice. And you get these little flash marks and you got to clean them up. Nobody even cleaned them up. That's how low their budget was on this.
That's lazy.
It costs money.
Budget. It's purely budget, Anima. It's not because anybody was lazy. There was no time. Because you only work when you're getting paid, and if you're not getting paid, that means there's no time to do it. And so that shit got left in. They try to mask it by holding it a certain way, not getting really big close-ups on it, shoot it quickly and be off camera. They'll have hero models that'll be cleaned up, but then they'll have the other models that'll have the flash marks on them in this movie. And I've seen it multiple times, and I'll spot it every single time. Now that's a cleaner model right there, but you still see the seam line on it. But these things freaked me the fuck out. They really did.
They are fucking ugly.
They were right up there with the Daleks for giving me night terrors as a child.
Yeah, see, watching this today with it, I just realized how much movies like The Thing have spoiled me as far as visual effects go.
And, well, you're talking about practical effects, not visual, but practical. The practical effects, and I agree with you 100%. Because that movie stands up to today on its practical effects. The only scene in it that's weird is the stop motion animation scene with the tentacles in the final act. That's the only spot that's kind of hinky looking. Okay, here we go.
I always thought the head being pulled with the string in the hospital before he blasts it was kind of a little sketchy, but
no, that was insane. I think that's one of the best shots in the movie because it's not human anymore. That is alien goo on the inside of it stretching. I'm telling you, Rob Bottin nearly killed himself doing that. He was hospitalized twice making the thing. But again, they start talking about, what do they call them? Not griffins, on churches, gargoyles.
Gargoyles.
Yeah.
Gargoyles.
That these things were the inspiration for gargoyles, that these are ancient. They're aliens, but they're what humans perceived as demons.
And this, I will say, completely and utterly, even though I hadn't seen this before, this is way better realized and thought out than Prometheus for this type of story.
Almost anything is better.
Yes,
almost anything.
Prometheus he should be embarrassed for that movie.
There were Jesus.
I love the fact that, like all Hammer films, it's got beautiful cinematography. No matter how cheap the budget is, they always look great. The color looks great.
Yeah, and the lighting. And for that period of time, even though there is a bit of overlighting in the background, it's not so overlit that it's distracting from the foreground. And that, like right here, I like the lighting here. This is actually classic black and white photography lighting right there. What you'd see in a black and white film. And I believe that's because the guy that was cinematographer, because he worked on a lot of the early Hammer films. And let me go look that up real quick.
Yeah, who was in this one?
DP on 5 million.
Again, beautiful cars.
Yes.
I mean,
by the way, we commented on the fact that his outfit at the beginning of the film is Dr. Henry Jones's outfit to the teeth, including his waistcoat. The bow tie, the hat, everything is Dr. Henry Jones.
The cinematographer is Arthur Grant, who did quite a few Hammers. I'm not sure what else he might have done, but he did a lot of Hammer stuff. Look and see.
Yeah, I'm going
Dr.
to the
Jones.
credits right now over on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Did
Look,
several Hammers. Yeah.
The title they gave this in the US though is kind of bad. It's like 5 million years to Earth. And it's like,
Arthur Grant worked on Shadow the Cat, Curse of the Werewolf, which was another one I brought up earlier with Oliver Reed.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie. I loved their turn with Herbert Lom.
Yes,
Phantom of the Opera. I thought it was one of the best fleshed out stories of the character.
And he did the Abominable Snowman, the black and white 50s Hammer one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff here.
But he goes all the way back to the 30s, which is what I was saying. This is clearly the person who lit this film clearly worked in black and white, because a lot of the scenes in this, if you look at it, look like it was lit for black and white.
Well,
watch some of the exterior light scenes. When you see light coming through windows, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Look what Andy says here.
Exact copy of BBC black and white TV version. I would not be surprised if this was not, because even the creatures look the same. They're very similar to what was used in the TV version. And I've seen that, by the way. I do believe that it was used as the storyboard animatic for making this film, because it is almost a shot-for-shot remake, including the way they shot the angle of the ship. The ship was not as nice looking. It was more tubular in its shape. But that's BBC television, you know. They've got ship budgets.
I imagine the climax wasn't as grand in the black and white one.
Yes, it is, Lady V.
Yeah.
But what they do put a lot of effort into with Hammer is the actors. You are guaranteed to get occasionally a little chewing of the scenery, but 95% of the time, absolute straightforward acting by real legitimate actors that are doing the character the best they can. But yeah, that is a lunar surface photo.
Yes,
because part of the plot that they're talking about is a planned mission to the moon. Or
it's not just a close-up of your skin, Gary.
Yeah, it's I can proudly say I don't have pox scars. I did not get acne like all my friends did. It was really weird. I got blackheads around my nose and around my ear, and that was it. And I was constantly scrubbing to keep that from happening. Again,
common.
This is that MGM movie set. It does not look like a real city street at all.
Yeah, that bit doesn't look surreal.
None of them do. Every angle looks like it's a fake street.
Don't you feel, though, that perhaps that might add something to the movie, giving it a slight sense of unreality as opposed to mundane real streets?
We have
listen to you overthinking things, Brian. Did that hurt?
That's a good.
If I had a brain, it would have hurt.
We have breach.
Okay, that's a good breach. I like that breach. That's a good one, Monkey. Good one. The dark side of Gary's back door.
At last, he's putting away his laziness.
Now, I like the lighting on this scene because this makes it extra scary what happens here. And sure, it makes it easier to hide wires and shit. But I like that they just go ahead, turn off all the lights. Backlight here, front light here, and just give the impression of something. And that to me is where you can get really scary shit.
Well, that's the positive of having a low
and
budget.
This is the telekinetic scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it telekinesis or is it magnetic? Because it's all metal
telekinesis.
Objects, I noticed. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm with
Johnny Walker. There you go. That was for you, Brian.
A telekinetic is a person who can perform telekinesis.
Oh, I love this. The shit just starts like floating, the wires like flipping around and shit.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I told you, Anima, I told you. That was what Brian wanted to talk to me about. I can read comments. Mate, we need to talk. Oh, shit. Somebody's going to quit.
Yeah, well.
No worries, man.
We'll talk about it later.
I know life. I know about life.
I've had my struggles recently, but anyway. But this is these are very important films, and the TV shows were very important to me growing up as a kid, because this is what things like this that got me into science fiction heavily.
Yes, and I love this scene in particular. Scared me because, like, what's wrong with him? Because I was always worried about that as a kid. Why are they talking like that? Why are they running like that? And he just wanders off like a madman.
It's a movie, Jeebus. Get over it.
Yeah.
Even Kingsport Cal back when we did House of the Dragon. Dragons don't exist every week in chat.
And neither do houses.
I love every time he says that. Oh, in the after show, it's even funnier because he emotes and he gets in character when he says, "That's not real."
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That's what I want in my movies. Unreal. I don't want real. I live in real.
Yeah,
I want either hyper real or unreal. Either one.
Oh,
it's called escapism for a reason.
Yes,
the effect that they did on this ground, that is clearly a piece of cloth covered on gravel, and they move the cloth, and it gives the sensation that it's like an earthquake.
Yeah.
I understand that in your part of the world that they don't understand the word cloth. It's called cloth, not cloth.
All right. Thank you.
God, man, I'd hate to watch this movie with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I
need to watch any movie with him because I wouldn't be able to watch a movie. I'd just be making fun of them the whole time.
Yes, me too. Lost a little.
There is no Dr. Quatermass.
Hey, what was that paper you wrote on quantum entanglement? Oh, that's right. You never wrote one.
That's right. Yeah. He plays a scientist on television. Yeah.
I know.
That's the saddest part. Dolph Lundgren's a better scientist than
yes, he is.
He is. Yeah,
but he's also an asshole in real life, according to certain things. But he had a drinking problem, so that happens. He's working on it, from what I hear. Oh my God, English teeth! Those are bad.
I was just thinking they're some of the best.
They're some of the best.
Not racist at all, guys.
They're some of the best for British teeth.
High quality NHS dentistry, right there.
What is it? National Health Services. Yeah.
Nurse, bring me the hammer.
By the way, I told you they did that poll back in 2007, 2008, where they polled people from home and people who were just leaving their appointment. And what they found out was that close to 70% of people leaving their appointment were satisfied with National Health Services. And when they polled people from home who haven't been to their appointment yet, it was down at about 40% approval. Because when they saw the doctor, they were great. But while they're waiting for the doctor, not so good.
Well, I can testify that the Canadian system is no better. Trust me.
No, none of them are. They have the same problem. Yeah. It's the same problem we have with the VA in the United States. The VA
Gary disappear, you son of a. Or did it
what?
Freeze for me?
I missed it. What you said, dude. Shanevsky, what did you say? I missed it.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Or Gary did.
No, I couldn't hear you because I was talking.
Yeah, Gary couldn't hear you over the sound of his own enormous ego.
Fuck you, Brian. Yes, it was over the sound of my own voice.
Huge.
But we can hear you fine. I just couldn't hear you while I was talking. What did you say?
Janatsky?
Oh, it looked like you had frozen. So I was like, Gary, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I'm here, dude. Don't worry about it.
This is the BBC testing out their first ever streaming service.
BBC backdoor.
Yeah.
Oh.
BBC.
By the way, I have explained.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, Jim Watari is back. Yeah, I got your earlier comment. Look, I am a big fan, Jim, of the Hammer movie posters, especially their subway posters.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which were, landscape angled. And some of those are the best. And when I did that one movie poster for a buddy of mine, I did it in the classic Hammer style underground or subway posters. That was long with the photos of the cast.
They're like quads. Yeah, they're like
I love doing stuff like that because and when they give me a little freedom, I have fun doing movie posters. I can hear anything over the sound of how awesome Gary is either.
Oh, Mouse, don't do that. His ego is big enough. Don't do that.
I love Squeak. Squeak is a sweetheart. So she's never going to say anything mean to me.
I don't like the title, but I do like the poster for the 5 million years to Earth one.
Yeah, this is the part of the sci-fi we all have trouble with, by the way, that we were all talking about earlier, where we're going to, visually represent a memory of what? Yeah. That technology was not available in the 1960s. Sorry.
I think
it's barely available now. We have something akin to it today. We do, but nowhere near as good as what they're showing in this movie.
Well,
Wait, what did she say?
That's a continuation because she says this first and then says.
Oh.
I guess, did you show some of the movie posters from this movie earlier?
No, it's the one on the thumbnail. I actually combined two posters for the thumbnail. I love the poster art, both the British and the American releases.
Yeah, when I did a whole stream on Hammer a few months ago, and it was great fun collecting all the posters for the images. This is one of them for.
Well, that's the ship from that version. That ship in that poster is the one from the BBC production.
Yeah,
from a few years earlier. Cylindrical.
The ship is but the Barbara Shelley is also cylindrical in this, I think.
She's very orbed, I would say.
But it's beautiful. Yeah, I love those quad posters. They're just gorgeous.
Oh. We lost them.
Sorry, was that me? No, that was you.
Oh, we should go to commercial break. I think.
Said that twice.
Where's Bill? We lost Bill.
Oh,
he's
Bill.
He's in the,
Bill, let's
in
go
the back office.
Yeah, let's go commercial break. Now.
Hello.
Meow.
Martin?
Meow. Start the commercial. Meow. Start the commercial. Meow. Meow. Do it. Meow. Hi guys, this is Gary from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy. I'm going to take it for the play. I'm going to take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh wow, we survived. Welcome back to the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. And just like that, I asked him, like, well, if that's my thermometer, what'd I do with my pen?
Oh my God, no. No.
Oh, I thought you said organist. I'm sorry.
By the way, I sent you some real faggoty messages, Brian, so go read
Just
it.
to point it out again, I'm here against my will.
You are not against your will. I would never do that. But I did ask you to be here because I like you being on with me. I like hanging out with you. You're the woman I love. And I just want to share these things with you. Yeah. And the only thing more gay than what I just said is two grown men fucking. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's only gay if they're staring directly into each other's eyes.
Yeah. Or until they do it a second time.
Yeah, I was just going to say it only counts when it happens twice.
You know what?
Anyway,
I really like doing that. Let's do it again.
Whatever machine that is that she's wearing, we all should get one of those because she looks like she's enjoying it.
Yeah, that's the Orgasmo.
Orgasmatron. That was a Woody Allen one, wasn't it?
That's the prototype. The prototype for the one in Demolition Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is where she starts going mad. Because what you discover, part of the plot is really interesting, that part of the human populace carries this DNA that are from the apes in this location. And it's spread out around the world.
Because there are modified apes. The insects modify the apes.
If you evolve from like another one, you don't have this gene. But any of the apes because the apes that were from this area, the prehistoric man, were genetically modified.
They're actually
brought here.
There is a technical name for them: Londoners.
Londoners.
Only Brian is allowed to say it.
That's the anthropological, archaeological name for them. Londoners. They're apes from that area.
And you know how to detect them? Their teeth are way too nice.
That's right.
And we just lost the British part of our audience.
Yeah.
Did we have one?
I thought
yes, we have.
Andy is here. Was there anybody else from England?
Andy's a good lad. He wouldn't take offense.
I love Andy Morrow. He's got a great humor.
Yeah.
He inundates me with so many fucking funny memes. So I know he's got a good sense of humor.
No, but 70s. I thought you were going to say it was soccer hooligans. That's how you can tell.
Well, that's the Londoners and soccer hooligans are the same thing.
Yes,
and it's not very happy right now.
No, he's laughing. He's having a good time.
And I tell him that at least once a day.
This is where they saved on the budget by showing those dream sequences. They didn't have to do a flashback or describe it and then show it.
Yeah.
They were able to shoot in darkness and with tiny, tiny miniatures, and it saved them so much fucking money. And using the what do they call it? Curved lens with Vaseline on the outside, so everything's really blurred.
That
hyper focus.
That actor that's playing the military guy there, Brian Marshall.
Julian Glover, yeah.
Brian Marshall's the other one, the more blonde-haired guy. He's the guy there's another military guy in there. He was in a lot of stuff, like Long Good Friday.
I love that movie, dude.
The Punisher, the '89 version of the Punisher, and stuff like that. Yeah,
what was he in that?
Yeah, he played. Oh God, what was it? Dino Moretti. He was the.
He played Moretti.
Yeah, he was Moretti. I couldn't remember I think Dino. I couldn't think of the name. Moretti. He played Dino Moretti. Brian Marshall.
He's in that scene at the table with the Japanese Yakuza lady.
Yeah. So
she said, while your ancestors were still fucking sheep or goats, my family was running Japan.
Yeah, but he was in a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's an interesting actor. It's all the character actors they get in these were always excellent. The Hammer stuff.
Hammer really was British cinema for a while. It was the only cinema making money from the UK.
Yep.
Hitchcock was technically not a British director anymore. Even though what's the schizophrenic movie he did in the 60s after Psycho? No, after Psycho. I said, Jesus Christ. Oh God,
no, I'm trying to think
Strangler in England, and he actually shot it in England, and it was like kind of a huge thing that he came back to England to make a movie.
Yeah,
and it was the guy strangling women with nylons.
I think that's just in your mind, Gary.
No, it's a real movie.
I'm just kidding. No,
Gary's mind is a scary place.
God, I could picture it too. Anyway, but yeah, he was an American director. The only things that were making money really were Hammer and the Carry On movies, the comedy movies, made money because they were low budget.
Exactly, Hammer did something, and it started in the late 50s. Technically, they started early 50s, but they didn't start making money until the late 50s. And it's when they put out, I think the first one was Dracula, right?
Frenzy.
And then they did Frankenstein.
Frenzy is the movie, Jim says.
Frenzy.
Yeah.
That's it. Frenzy was Hitchcock's return to England to make an English psycho movie. And I love that film, by the way. Great cast.
Mm.
I'm trying to see if I can find it here real quick because I forget who that actor was.
Let's see. Frenzy, starring John Finch.
That's it.
Oh, John Finch. Yeah.
Very
John Finch was a great low-budget movie actor from Britain. Great actor. There's Sean Connery. I'm here to fix this problem. I'm going to use my left thumb because my right thumb is far too powerful.
Yeah. Wait till I get my red codpiece on. That'll short them out.
Damn you, Zardoz. Damn you to hell.
Worst Sean Connery movie ever made is actually The Avengers.
Yeah, it's such a disappointment.
Yeah.
His dentures. You could hear his dentures in that movie. And it was frustrating listening to him talk and hear his dentures. And you go back and watch it and you'll know what I'm talking about. You can hear that there's a sound that happens with the air when you're talking.
Pretty sure there was a worse one than that. What was that?
Why does an actor like him that doesn't get better dentures?
The Green Knight was pretty bad.
Well, what was the one they made where he was like a wizard in it or something for 10 minutes? Oh shit. It'll come back to me.
I have no idea.
I remember The Green Knight was not very good.
Wasn't that? Hang on.
It had what's his name? Miles O'Keefe. How many O'Keefes did it have? Miles.
Miles.
Oh my God! Why? My ears.
What medicine?
Says the king of dad jokes, by the way.
Sword of the Valiant, yeah, Sword of the Valiant, the Green Knight, Sword of the Valiant.
Really bad.
Sword of the Valiant is the title that I know of that movie. Because the Green Knight is the
Green Knight. It's the tale of the Green Knight.
Yeah, that is the worst movie
he's ever been in.
That's the worst movie. Yeah.
So
even Darby O'Gill,
you and I are sympathetic on that. Good.
Yeah, right. Even Darby O'Gill's better than that.
Darby O'Gill's actually fun.
I never heard of this movie until you mentioned it, and now I wish I never had.
Now, the other difference between, again, I brought this up before you were here, about his version of Quatermass and the previous versions is, the previous versions are a little more cheeky, whereas he plays it straight in this film. He is absolutely playing dramatic in this film. That freaked me out too, the veins in it, like it was alive. That freaked me out as a kid.
Oh, the ship is alive. It's organic.
I know, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid. That was alive. It's alive. It's got veins. Because I remember asking my dad, "What are those?" He goes, "Those are veins." I'm like, "It's alive."
You were so impressionable.
See,
not the pub. Not the pub.
Now they're heading down the. See, that's the answer to everything in Britain. You know what? We've got an alien invasion going here. Fuck it, let's go down the pub.
That's one of the things that I really love about the Wraith in Stargate Atlantis, that the ships are organic. That's awesome. That's fantastic and scary at the same time.
But then it attacks the booze, and that's how you know British society really is under attack.
That's right.
Another show that did that before Stargate was the one done by Jim Henson. What was that show called?
Farscape.
Farscape. Because the ship was alive.
And Space Above and Beyond, the ships have organic components.
I didn't remember that.
Components, that is one thing, but with the Wraith, the whole ship is organic.
The whole ship is alive. And the same thing with Farscape. The ship is alive. And it interacts.
Well, it's been used in a few things, that concept.
Yeah, Babylon 5,
novels.
The Shadows.
Yes.
I just don't remember that.
It just depends how
Look
you
at
get
him
into
here.
the
Look
ship.
at him
It depends
here.
how you get into the ship. That's what's important. If it's
I like that shot. Can we go back to that again? Martin, can you go back?
Which entrance do you use? Do you go in the front of the ship or the back door of the ship?
I want to show that Quatermass's character is also infected because he's got that gene.
Oh, yes.
And he's got that lost, crazy look in his eyes. There he is. He's following the mob. And his friend grabs him. This is such a good film. I really do love this movie.
I think just about everything in the Quatermass franchise, if you want to call it that, was great. You know,
get ready for the look. He's just miles away in his head.
He doesn't recognize him. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know where he is. He thinks he's a Martian.
Yeah, that Newcastle brown ale is strong stuff.
It fucks you up, mate.
No, but you see,
I only had 2 pints.
I was dead at the pub, totally pissed.
He wants to remind him of his British humanity. What does he do? He feeds him alcohol.
Feeds him alcohol.
Yes.
Have some whiskey.
That's what he does. That's what he does. Here's a pint. You'll feel better.
That's right.
Yeah,
Or you'll feel nothing.
I get chewed out for saying things like that, and Brian doesn't. That's fucked up, Gary.
No, these aliens are Martians, aren't they? In this, the Martians.
And there would need to be something else, or I would say that they're transplants from Mars because Mars was dying, which goes right along with ancient alien theories that Mars was once inhabitable, and they came here. We are Martians.
But you see, when people say that, they go, well, how did life on Earth start? Well, maybe we came from Mars. I'd say, well, that's great, but you're only pushing the problem further back. How did life on Mars start then?
Oh, man, his death. Yeah,
see, smoking is bad for you. That's the positive proof that smoking is bad for you.
Yeah.
Was that like a bolt of lightning that did that to him? I can't remember. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the thing got supercharged because they decided to hit it with electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the minute that they did that, they gave it all the energy it needed to come back. And this scene scared the shit out of me, too, as a kid. When you see the giant ghost-like figure of one of these Martians that look like demons over the city, scared the shit out of me as a kid. It really did.
It's the devil. That's what it's supposed to be.
And I knew that this guy was going to die, that he was going to give his life to save humanity, to stop this. And it's just that look on his face just now, right there, that look he's got, tells you everything you need to know about that character. Someone's got to do this, and it's clearly not you, Quatermass, because you're half insane right now. I guess it's up to me to give my life for the world. Because any other time, Quatermass would have done that. Quatermass was all, the one thing I liked about his character was, he's fun, he's cheeky, but in the end, he's willing to do what is necessary to stop something, including if it costs him his life. He's a very heroic character. One thing I've always wanted to do, I was told that there are BBC dramas, radio dramas of this done in the 40s. I don't know. I want to find out if that's true, and I would like to hear some of those, how they did it on radio.
I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever heard those. I mean, I'm aware of the TV serials because maybe not the first one, but the second and third and fourth I've seen. First one was there's only 2 episodes left of it. I'm not sure they ever because it was done in 1953. The very first one. It was groundbreaking television.
Was it 53 or 52? I thought it was 52.
52, maybe. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was groundbreaking, not just in Britain but globally. One of, if not the first, major science fiction shows on a television station anywhere. So it was so
yeah,
early.
and the first two movies, let me double check on them, because the first one was called the Quatermass Experiment, and the second one was just simply called Quatermass 2. Experiment. That's with
inventive title.
Yeah.
Very.
And by the way, they put the X in the title because they knew they were going to get an X rating.
That's
Very
right,
clever what they did it with the first one.
It was.
And they did. They got an X rating for the first movie because it was too heavy and dark a subject, and it was gory. It had some really gross effects in it.
Which is odd because I look at this and like this is 10 compared to what we got now, but this is like
of course. But
there
Brian
isn't a
Dunleavy.
radio. I'm not sure there was a radio serial.
That's what I'm looking to see right now because
there was.
I'm going to look it up real quick because
It doesn't mention it online in the sites I'm looking at, but it doesn't mean there wasn't. It just doesn't mention them.
I know there was a TV serial, and then they had it was like one season, which they didn't do seasons in Britain. It was just simply one show.
Well, they did six. The Quatermass Experiment, the first one, was 6 episodes. Unfortunately, only 2 of them still exist.
Yeah, that's where it got it started.
And then the Quatermass and the Pitt, that was up to 1959. Then there was the 79 John Mills one, 1979 John Mills Quatermass. And then they remade the first serial in 2005 with Jason Fleming. But the first one was 6 episodes. They were all 6 episodes, actually.
Yeah, it was during the 50s that the BBC had what they referred to as science fiction serials. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here's the big crane scene. This is such a good scene. Scared the shit out of me as a kid.
A great idea, though, to ground it with the crane. Day of the Triffids, that movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Ditto. The first version scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We haven't done it, Jim, but it should be in the future.
Yeah, we got to do that one. Yeah.
But the thing that freaked me out about it was that the meteor shower blinded anybody that saw it.
Yep. Apart from that lucky guy that was having the operation
for the Triffids. Yeah, the one guy that was in the hospital with his eyes bandaged.
I always thought the casting was a bit weird there. It was the singer? What was his name? Howard Keel? Wasn't it Howard Keel? That was the lead.
By the way, if you want to see what the black and white one looked like, I got it shared on my screen.
Okay, after the video will thing. Let me see if I can find it.
The Memoirs was the only radio one, but that was 1996. That was Andrew.
Here we go. 1963, Day of the Triffids. Howard Keel. That's who it was.
Who was a singer, of course. He was a like 7 Brides for 7 Brothers type stuff, and great great drama role for him,
I am proud to say that I have every version of the Day of the Triffids that has been put on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
There was a Hammer anthology film that had a Day of the Triffids short story in it. You remember that one, Brian?
I've not.
Where they're
I may have seen it, but I can't remember.
On a train telling, and the guy's reading cards. It's Peter Cushing, I think.
Oh yeah. I have seen it like way back in the late 70s, I think, or early 80s. Yeah, can't remember it. But yeah,
I like the way this movie ends with just the titles playing over them.
Yeah,
facing the realization that it's over, but he's dead.
Yeah, using the crane was great. I mean, to ground the thing, a fantastic way of defeating the energy of the alien ship.
Yep.
Well, it was well done.
It's a very somber ending, though. Don't you agree with how they did that? The film continues all the way through the credits.
It's very downbeat, yeah.
7 hours.
The end also is very 1950s B-movie horror thing, because they would always just be monster blows up and then the end.
Now, I do want to point something out in this shot. This is the exact same street used in the original Alfred Hitchcock, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Because when she has to shoot the guy holding her kid up on the top of the building, that's the building behind him there. That scene was shot on. It's a little thing. A little bit of trivia.
Indeed. Good stuff.
Let's see this thing you got here. Yeah,
Holy
see,
shit.
like I told you, very insect-like, and that's creepy looking as shit.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
I hate it.
Because it is so creepy. That's why.
Because it's insect-like.
But it's fun talking about Hammer films every once in a while. Next week, Tom will be here. Tom actually mentioned that he might be here, but he just knew nothing about this film. But I said, just stop in and say hi if you want to. But I think he's just going to take it easy.
Normally it's Tom and Gary.
Tom and Jerry. I mean Gary.
And Jerry.
The next week we're doing RoboCop, and
you have 10 seconds to comply.
I still have to see that one. You know that? I haven't watched it.
Oh, you have to see the extended. You have to see the extended with all the gore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my!
Give the man a hand.
What is this show becoming into?
And we still have over half an hour to go. I'm scared.
So the director of that movie we just watched was the great Roy Ward Baker, who directed dozens of Hammers
films. Yes,
but he also did a lot of fantastic television in his career. The Avengers, The Saint, Persuaders, Champions, Randall and Hopkirk, if you've ever seen that, which is a great
and the
show.
Persuaders, was that also a Jerry Anderson production?
No, that wasn't a Jerry Anderson. It was
that was the one with Tony Curtis and
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore, that's right.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was anything to do with Jerry Anderson. It was actually neat. The theme music is by John Barry, and it's one of the best theme tunes ever in any show ever. It's brilliant. But yeah, he did all that. He did a lot of that stuff. Jason King. These are all shows I grew up watching. The Champions. That was such a great show.
Nobody remembers that. I'm so glad. I remember that show. I used to think, because I had just bought Queen Live Killer.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that show for the first time,
We Are the Champions.
I thought was there some sort of association with that song? And then I was really confused by that. Like, what are the odds I would buy this album and the show comes on?
Yeah, it's funny that Champions is a completely forgotten show. It was one of these ITC sort of science fiction-y type things. And
ITC was, to me, a sign of quality.
Yeah, they made such good shows.
Well, they produced everything for Jerry Anderson.
Yeah.
ITC did the Muppets.
Yep.
It wasn't until they had ITC or ITV here in the U.S. that things got stupid. Because that's what fucked up Space 1999, because season 1 was being produced by ITC in Britain.
Yep.
And then they switched to the American office and they hired Fred Freeberger, who screwed up the last season of Star Trek. And he turned it into Space 1999 season 2 into Monster of the Week shit.
I know. I really never understood that. I mean, all of a sudden there's this woman that can change into animals, even though she's not human. So how would she know? So it's weird. It's like, I want to go back to this being on the moon base and, just sort of Star Trek type stuff of surviving week to week with, crises of the week. And they had this weird woman.
Bye, Lady V.
Yeah.
She had to leave. I just saw it. Sorry,
also, several people disappeared in season 2, and it was like, well, where did they go?
Well, the professor was going.
Well, he died.
And they explain it later in the comics.
They do, yeah. Buddy Morse died. Yeah.
They just didn't want him back. And I knew him from The Fugitive because he was the detective chasing Kimball in the show. Very good actor, Barry Morse. The other one who was kind of kicked to the back was Alan. The Aussie.
I know,
actor.
I liked him as well. Yeah,
because he was like a main character season 1, and then he's kind of in the background.
Yeah, and they brought this other guy forward, like Tony Verdershi or whatever his name was, and he was like, "Where did he come from?" There's a finite number of people on this base, and we've never seen him doing anything ever, and all of a sudden he's in charge.
And look, as much as she was hot, the British actress that plays the changeling. That always bothered me. It was so chintzy, Saturday morning chintzy.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was a gimmick.
It was very gimmicky. It's Fred Freeberger.
Yeah, total gimmick. Yeah.
Keith and I have gone into this because we are not fans of Fred Freeberger. He was a blight on Star Trek, and then a blight that destroyed the series that followed up Star Trek, Space 1999. It easily could have been the show. He's the reason why they changed the command center.
And to me, it's almost like he didn't take the material seriously. It's only sci-fi, and he was one of these guys, I think, that just saw it as a cheap gimmick and cheap thrills.
It's exactly what it was. He didn't consider it highbrow, that it could be quality storytelling.
Yeah,
he saw it as a way of making a buck, and next week let's do something. And that's why, like David Prowse was in there. There's another tall actor. We were talking about him.
Yesterday. They had such great guest stars in Space 1999.
There's actually one. Let me find it real quick. Keith and I were talking about this last night while he was here.
Ian McShane was on an episode, and guys like that.
Shit! What's his name? Was on there twice. Yeah. Big Mouth, English.
Brian
Shakespearean
Blessed?
Actor Brian. Yeah,
Brian
Blessed. Brian was season 1 and season 2.
I got an image to share with you. It's nothing to do with Space 1999. It's from the Champions. Alexandra Bastido was the female lead in the Champions. I always thought she was quite something.
That has messed with sci-fi shows. There are examples I can think of. Like Pulaski replacing Dr. Crusher in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah. And one of the ones that always bugged me was season 3 of Sliders, when they brought in the military girl because she's hot, and then John Rhys Davies quit, and the series was just never as good.
I know.
So here we go. Let me share my screen now. Share screen. Present. Terry Richards plays the creature in this episode. I just watched this episode yesterday. It's episode 15, season 2. And Terry Richards, of course, is the sword-carrying Arab in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He plays the giant creature in it. There's Tony Anholt. He plays Tony Verdeshi.
Yeah, and he came from nowhere. Like, come on, there's a finite number of people on this base. How come he wasn't in season 1?
Yeah, at least Catherine Schell was from another world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But this is the guy. He plays the alien. Where's the photo of him? Right here. This is him in the show, and but the actor is the same actor who plays the villain in the Zorro movie, the first Zorro movie with
Antonio
Banderas.
There he is. Because as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, I know that fucking face. I know him. And then it's like, that's it. He was in The Mask of Zorro.
He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
he was the fucking doctor in Hot Fuzz. The one with the shotgun at the end.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. No.
Holy shit, that was him?
Yeah, the one who gets his foot shot off after getting shot like 3 or 4 times.
He's really a good actor, to be honest with you. He was really good in The Mask of Zorro. But he was in that episode. I'm very fond of that show still. Even season 2, despite itself, I still do like season 2 because it's still got.
Thoth, we did read out the winning lottery numbers tonight in the Canadian lottery, so I'm sorry you've missed that.
Also, what was that unsolvable equation that you figured out halfway through the show, Brian?
Well, I don't want to tell because I don't want to look
Pythagoras.
The Pythagoras theory equation.
We're still gonna get banned.
Pythagoras. We're still getting cancelled.
Yeah, it's going to be math that gets me banned.
We are banned already. They just want us to believe that we're still live.
We figured out how to divide by 0, so but we're not going to tell you how to do it again, Thoth. You weren't listening, so forget.
Oh, somebody posted one of those equations. It was 10. What was it? 10 times 0 equals plus. And the problem is they're trying to make people look stupid in the comments, going, no, the answer is 81. I said it's only 81 if the center equation is in parentheses, and you don't have the parentheses, so it doesn't work the way you're saying.
That's right.
And I made them look stupid in their own. It's got to be a parenthetical statement for it to work the way you're saying. That it's 1 times this minus this, then a separate equation by itself, plus that. What does it equal? The answer is 81. And but the answer in the end to the way it's written is 10.
Yeah, I did discover what the final prime number is that ends the prime number sequence, but again, I'm not going to tell you, Thoth. You missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, we've discovered Spock prime number.
Yeah, that's right.
You get a lot of spam in Twitter. Do you guys?
No,
not really. I've had a couple of spam DMs, but not many.
At least 5 a day. And I just go in there because it won't let them through. I just go in and just delete them. But I'm like, God damn, man. It's because I'm starting to get a lot of readership on my comments, especially when I comment and share something from Doomcock, and or if I say something political. The only thing I did do on Twitter is I said, okay, that's it. I'm done with all the drive-by comments from people I don't fucking know. Nobody can comment on my page unless I follow them.
I saw that you did that. Yeah,
I'm just done with it. Like these stupid drive-by comments that are just dumb. And I'm not going to respond to them. I'm like, you're just going in here just to fucking be an asshole. Fuck you. Troll somebody else. I have no time for your trolling. But my buddy John
Village
Paul.
of the Damned. Great one. Great movie.
The 1960 film is really good, but I also got to tell you, I have a soft spot for Carpenter's remake. I do like it. I think Christopher Reeve did a really good job. It was back when Kirstie Alley was still hot.
Now all 3 of her are hot.
Oh, what?
All 3 of her are hot now.
Oh, Brian.
Sorry, Kirstie. We love you, Kirstie, but you know.
Your thing.
Is she still alive? I thought we lost her.
Did she? Is she gone?
I think she's gone. Yeah.
Is she? Oh, sorry. I feel even more sorry, Kirstie.
But she's under a 1 million-year contract, so she'll be back in their form.
Yeah. Now you mention it, I do remember her.
Scientology.
I do remember.
As a member of Scientology, she'll come back. No, yeah, we lost her last year. She was living.
Now you mention it, I remember now. Yes, it's
a damn shame.
It was.
Two shames about her. She was a Scientologist and that she died. Which one's worse? I'm still not sure.
Yeah, neither.
But when she took over running Cheers as the manager owner, I actually Elizabeth Howe, wasn't that it? Wasn't her character's name Elizabeth Howe?
No, it was it Sam and Diane? So was there a character named Diane or
no? Diane was the first girl, Shelley Duvall, or not Shelley Duvall, Shelley Long. Shelley Long played Diane, and then she left, and they brought in Kirstie Alley as I think Elizabeth Howe.
That's right.
I got to double
check. Rebecca Howe. Yeah, that was her name.
Rebecca Howe. That was a good show. I love that series all the way to the end. It never lost steam for me. A lot of shows will lose steam. Like
that and MASH, for some reason, those series just kept going on for
ironically, MASH lasted longer than the Korean War.
Yep. It did, yes. I actually find that later seasons of MASH are not as satisfying. It got a little too cheesy in places and preachy. Yeah.
It's also overly preachy. They got overly didactic. And this happened when it really started when what's his name quit. That played it was Hawkeye and what was the other Honeycutt? Was that it? No. It was the first guy. And he left. He was his first partner on the show that lived with him in the tent. And he's his best friend, always getting into hijinks. And when he quit the show, he quit the show.
No.
That's me staring at you right now.
Oh God, I'm trying to remember.
Hold on, I'll just look it up.
Yeah, I mean,
only we had some thing that we could research while we're
See, I loved all the books. I read all the books, and they were very
They're
different.
nothing like the show or film.
Yeah, they're nothing like
Wayne Rogers played Trapper John.
Trapper.
Okay, Trapper John. Wayne Rogers got pissed, and
Trapper John.
He was getting pissed at what was going on. Is they were making it a Hawkeye-centric show, and they were starting to get a little bit didactic with his stories, and it pissed him off, and he wanted off the show. So they got him off the show, and then, but they didn't kill him. He went home. McLean Stevenson, on the other hand, wants to move on with his career, and they fucking just kill him.
Henry, yeah.
As Lieutenant
Henry Blake.
Henry Blake. And but I got to tell you, I liked Sherman Potter better. I thought he was a better character. Radar was the one consistent thing from the film to the show. The only consistent thing.
Yeah. Apparently, he thought he was the star of the show, Gary Berghoff.
No, he didn't.
He did. He had a bit of an ego in him, apparently. He thought he
really?
was the star of the show, yeah.
I always think of him as the guy from Dragnet, so.
Yeah.
Which guy? Oh, you're talking about
Sherman T. Potter.
Sherman Potter, yeah. We're talking about Gary Berghoff as Radar O'Reilly now. Radar, his career died. I remember the first thing he did after MASH ended.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Somebody got that.
Oh, it hurts me.
Brian didn't get it.
Sorry, I was reading something.
There was another show that was a sequel called After MASH. And I said, so after MASH ended, Gary Berghoff's next job was playing the killer when they made an American version of M that was originally made in the 30s with Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
As a child killer. And it was terrible.
I don't think
the original wasn't. The original was a creepy movie.
I don't think I've seen him in any of those or anything other than MASH. He was the only guy to carry over from the movie as a regular, I think. I mean, there might have been others. Briefly,
God. No, there was another spinoff with him. It was called Walter.
What?
They did a pilot.
Oh, it never aired.
Yeah.
I would have heard of it. I don't know about this. I will tell you, there is another spinoff. It was called Trapper John MD. But what they did is they recast it because Wayne wasn't interested in playing the character anymore. And they got Pernell Roberts from Bonanza to take over the role. And that was where they did the first televised Vietnam veteran having difficulties episode. Where they made Vietnam vets look like they were broken. Yeah, Hollywood's never understood veterans.
But anyway, I felt MASH went on too long as well. Many shows do. They just don't know when to stop. And you get that sag happens. I mean, it's happened till Frasier went downhill for quite a period, and all these major sitcoms they all go down like this. They might finish strongly because it's finishing, but there's always a dip. I think more than 6 seasons to me, and you're pushing your luck, I think.
Yeah, Cheers was one of those shows that I don't think they ever had a sag during the run of the show. It was always it was sharp. And I got to be honest, I think part of that was because they would add new cast members every once in a while, or have to. And it was they always had interesting characters too in there. And oddly, I think it has a lot to do with the familiarity that you get with those characters that made the charmingness of the characters they're beloved characters. Another show that was like that was Barney Miller. It went all the way until the end. It was strong. MASH, on the other hand, it had a huge dip in the middle, and then it came back because we knew it was coming to an end. And I would say almost the majority of Americans tuned in for the finale of that show.
They showed it in the UK. It was on in the UK every week as well. That was a big one there too.
Well, the prime example of just going on way too long is, of course, The Simpsons.
This is why this right here, Dragon Ruse, is why you need to be here for the whole show. I actually brought that up not only like 10 minutes ago. I said the MASH, the other thing about MASH was that it lasted longer than the actual Korean War.
Remind me again, but in MASH, did they ever actually move the MASH in the show?
Yeah, they had to bug out.
Right. I'm trying to remember if they
had
did
to bug out.
To move several times, because that's the whole purpose of it. It's mobile.
Mobile. Now, when I was in, because we had the last MASH unit, and it was changed while I was in the Army from MASH to cash.
Casual army.
I think it has to do with casualties. And
that would be a good title for the final MASH spinoff, The Last MASH Unit.
Cash.
Cash.
Yeah, canned laughter is something that pisses me off in comedy.
They didn't put the canned laughter in the British screenings of MASH, the show.
Good.
One season they put the canned laughter in and everyone hated it, so they took it out again. So there was no canned laughter.
It's very fucking annoying. I don't need to be prodded.
That is the only issue I have with Undateable, is the canned laughter before they went live.
I can't watch a show.
The only issue that show has.
Yeah, I can't watch
it's so good. Undateable is so good that I can tolerate it, but man, it sucks.
If I was a producer, I would put it in at the wrong moments just to fuck people up.
Yeah. Applaud at the wrong moments too.
That's right. Yeah.
Like when somebody leaves the scene. Applaud.
Somebody dies and you get the. Oh.
I actually wrote a pilot that was like that. The concept of it was the guy gets stuck in like the sitcom from hell that never ended. So literally everything's messed up and there's laughter going on and he can hear it. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? What is wrong with you people?
That is good. I like that. I mean, you're walking along the street and you hear canned laughter, but I mean, there was an episode. There was a Twilight Zone episode was a little bit like that, but not quite.
Oh, I remember that one.
The one of the guy sitting at his desk in the office, and he looks up, and all these television cameras and lights are there. And this is his life. He's looking up, and he goes, "What?"
There's an episode of Mr. Robot where he ends up after being beaten half to death. He's like in a sitcom, and Mike will love this. Alf is in there with him.
Oh God.
Oh,
thank you. Would love that. Yeah.
Here you go. I'm going to put this in the private chat. This is funny. I told everybody, and my buddy that sent it, Nate Cheever, who's been on here. He works. I think he works for Bethesda now. I can't remember who he works for. It might be EA Games he works for now. He's a game developer.
I was trying to get my head behind that.
And he's been on here as a panelist. We've been friends for 30 years. I love this guy. And he sent me this video last night, guys. It's in the private chat. I'll share it with you in the public chat too, this video. And I said, this is Alex Kurtzman's hell. When he dies, this is where he should be sent. It's the opening of Star Trek that never starts. It builds up to the theme and then never goes there. And it plays for like 10 minutes. I just started laughing when I'm watching this, and I'm like, that should be an eternity for Alex Kurtzman when he dies.
Imagine if that was what your life was like this video.
Build up to something and then not happen. Build up to something and not happen.
If you want a really crazy one with sitcom formatting, Too Many Cooks on Adult Swim. It's literally just the opening theme that never ends and it keeps getting more and more.
I've seen that one. It's so weird. A lot of that stuff on Comedy Central was done for people who are stoned.
There's a musical equivalent by the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, Neil Innes and co. from the 60s. It's called The Intro and the Outro. And it's like 5 minutes of them introducing people as they start playing their instruments, and then 5 minutes of them winding down. It's never actually get to the song. But they're also, by the end of it, they're going, and on vibes, Adolf Hitler. And it just gets, Chao Mao Zedong, and, this goes crazy. But, the Bonzos, I don't know if you know them, the British comedy music troupe that Neil Innes, who later on went on to do a little Monty Python stuff, and the Ruttles was in them, and they were very eccentric. Let's put it that way.
Chairman Mao on catering.
That's right, that kind of thing. Yeah, the Bonzos were funny, very funny stuff.
Oh man, I don't remember them.
The Canyons of My Mind or something was another one. The string holes in my string vest, and and then the Urban Spaceman was a sort of hit single they had. But it's just one of these weird, eccentric British things where half of them were guys with big mustaches this wide that would, with names like Kevin Fotherington Swan, and
yeah, I've heard that one before.
It's all names like that, Just,
let's see.
No,
Vivian
Peter
Stanshall.
Venkman
Vivian
Fansite,
Stanshall was the main guy.
When JJ dies, he needs to be placed in a mystery box.
Yeah, which coffin is JJ's?
Do we have to wait until he dies? Do we have to wait?
Do we have to wait?
Yeah, let's do it right away. Get that out of the way.
JJ, over here, quick! I want to show you something. JJ, look in here.
By the way, last night while Keith was over and Dust Wolfen was here at the house, I was cracking jokes that I am never allowed to crack on this show about Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman. And they were just fucking nasty, mean, brutal, violent comments that I said, yeah, I would probably be banned off YouTube if I ever made those jokes in public.
What? She just requires that they.
But I had Keith rolling out of his chair. He was laughing at what I said. He's like, "Oh my fucking god!" I always break Keith again. I break Keith all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I had Keith. It was just us at the table last night, the four of us sitting there, and it was just me fucking with him the whole evening, just saying things that were fucked up. And he would go, well, you know what, to save Star Trek? I said, you know what to save Star Trek? And then I say something fucked up. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Gary?
A Scottish comic group I liked, at least musically, it's comedy, came out recently, is the Rubber Bandits. They have one song in particular called Black Man, where it's like literally he has the most diverse gang ever, but he doesn't have a black man. So that's what he's looking for in his gang.
Actually, don't know that one. The rubber bandits.
Yeah, the rubber bandits. Their gimmick is they have shopping carts, bags, and they're like have masks cut out of those,
like Tesco bags and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
okay. I'll look that up. Yeah, you don't know the Bonzos. They did a great version of the Monster Mash, better than the one everyone knows, I think. But
I'm going to YouTube to see if I can look them up so I can watch them. What'll be funny is if I go, oh, I do know these guys.
You will know them. They were famous in the 60s, famous comedy music group, and with the Monty Python associations. Because Neil Innes they did all the music for Python stuff. And then it went on to do the Ruttles, amongst other things.
I know the Ruttles. I brought that up, and other people are like, what is that?
The Prefab Four.
The Prefab Four?
The Prefab Four.
It was made for that
Dirk, Stig, Nasty, and Barry.
What is that? The other one with miniature Stonehenge. What were they called?
Spinal Tap. Yeah.
I said before Spinal Tap, there was Ruttles. And it was the one that started the whole rock mockumentary thing.
The Prefab Four, a legend in their own lunchtime.
Nice. Another American one guy who released a couple albums that I enjoyed is Trevor Moore.
Trevor Moore.
Yeah, he has like one that's like, it's like High in Church, which is.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah. I didn't know the name, but see, musical comedy is a particular skill.
Yeah,
the Bonzo
Doodah Band.
The Doodah Band.
Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
Or what was it? Gays Got Married, which is a country singer singing about gay marriage being legalized, and it's like the like right wing nightmare come to life, and he just ends up in a bunker at the end waiting to die.
By the way, bringing that up, when you grew up in Scotland, I don't know if it was the same up north, but I know when I was in London, I went into a public bathroom in London. I think it was Hyde Park, and there was a sign when you go in the door, you look right up, and it was right above your head going through the door that said "No gays," and they had a law. on there.
Well, back in, I mean, it wasn't legalized in Britain until in the early 60s or something. I don't know. But I don't recall seeing signs like that myself. But then
This
I was
was
only
in
a kid in the
77
60s.
when I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I may have. I just don't remember it. There might have been signs up saying, no hanging around in here, no loitering.
Yeah, but that one was very specific to the specific kind of loitering.
Right.
And there's like basically saying no buggery in this bathroom.
So you obviously left that bathroom immediately because it just wasn't for you.
I'm like, oh, well, that's why I came here.
Several times. I do remember reading about you in the papers.
I'm 13 going through puberty. I want some stuff, man. I want it to happen.
Yeah, it's now, of course, that you'd have signs up saying everyone welcome, no matter which of the 900 genders you are.
Place objects in hole.
That's right.
Oh, Jesus.
Slot machine.
This hurts. If you kill me, Gary, I'm going to come back from hell to take you there.
There are people who probably have a morbid fear of public bathrooms. Probably. It's probably a phobia.
I always have. I told you the incident up in Glasgow when I was in that big
Gary
train
and his
station.
weird bathroom stories.
Because Glasgow is very gothic. And they had a gothic train station. And I went in there and I followed my dad in. And when you walk in the door, there's this giant wall that stands a little over 6 feet, tiled. And the whole room is
I've been
vaulted.
there many times. Yeah.
20, 30-foot ceiling, and you can see the vents going through, and there's stone masonry and giant windows that don't start until 10 feet up. The windows...
We used to be very tall in Scotland. We were all 15
apparently.
feet tall. Yeah.
They're wee tall. Wee tall. Anyway, so, and I told you I go in there and they had this giant moon face scale. And I remember stepping on it and I'm looking underneath it, trying to figure out where do you put the coin? Where do you put that damn coin? And there's no place for it. So I'm looking at the face and it's got, like I said, a giant moon face with all these different things. Like, I can't remember. It's not just your weight. It's like, what do you call it? Zodiac stuff. And this big guy walks up to me and he's wearing, and he was tall. Well, I was a kid, so I was pretty short at 13. And he walks up to me and I turned and looked at him and he's got a kilt on. He's got a sporran. He's got his tam o'shanter. He's got a, again, I forget the word, the vest. In Britain, you don't call it a vest. You call it it goes under your jacket.
Yeah. I call it a vest.
Well, we call it vest here in America, but over there they call it something else. I forgot. I said it twice earlier. And he had a tweed jacket on with corduroy patches. And this guy is ingrained in my fucking head. I will never forget him. Big fucking white sideburns going all the way right here to his jowls. And he starts explaining something to me in a very thick Scottish accent.
Sounds perfectly reasonable to me. I agree with
you
him.
would have said, yes, thank you. But I looked at him and I went, oh, I'm wearing a tweed jacket and corduroy pants, and I'm very pale. I'm very pale and brownish gingery hair. So I'm like, he thinks I'm Scottish. So he's speaking Scottish to me, the Scottish version of Gaelic. So I'm like, oh, and I just said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I only speak English. And he leaned all the way down to my face and he says, that was English, laddie.
And then he killed you.
I wish, because I died.
With the back legs.
I was so horrified because everybody in that bathroom began laughing, and that was all that stonework. It was echoes of laughter. And it was like a nightmare for me. And I walked out backwards, terrified.
To be fair, I come from Edinburgh, and I find it hard to understand people from Glasgow. So,
well, Glasgow's they're very thick up there with their accent.
Pretty rough accent, some of it. But
he doesn't sound like from there.
But he doesn't sound like your average Glaswegian. He sounds more like a Highlander that was visiting for the day.
Yeah. It's very thick accent.
There's not many people walking around in a kilt normally in Scotland, I have to say. It's a bit of an illusion. If they're playing the pipes in Princess Street in Edinburgh for the tourist money, yes, maybe. But
yeah, now Monkey Jeebus makes the joke, Gaelic. My favorite Irish joke is, do you know what they call an Irishman that loves his wife more than his ale? Queer.
Oh, it hurts. I hate you, Gary.
I'm suffering with you, Shanatsky. You're not alone.
Yeah,
Martina's probably died at this point.
I'll end on another classic Irish joke, where the son gets upset with his mother, telling everybody at the funeral how his father died, that he died of gonorrhea. And he's like, "Mother, why are you telling him that? When you know farewell that father died of diarrhea, not gonorrhea." And she says, "Well, son, I want everyone to think he died the man he wasn't, and the little shit he was."
Oh, God. You know how to confuse an Irishman, don't you?
Oh, wow.
Show him 3 shovels and tell him to take his pick.
So question, in Scotland, is there just a guy who's wandering around angry, just constantly yelling, "McLeod"?
There are a few. It's not just one.
I think it's time to end the show before we piss
It is
off our
time to end the
entire
show.
audience.
We've reached the end. It is time for Bill to end the show. So I will thank
Peter
everybody.
wants to see a sexy kilt guy, I'll just put mine on for the show.
Yeah, you'll just do it and dance around.
What?
We're done.
I was like, what happened? I'm getting ready to thank everybody. Andy Morrow, Dragon Ruse, Lord Thoth, Kingsport Calzax, Just Another Red Shirt, to be seeing you. Decepticons Cave of Comics, Monkey Jeebus, Lady V, Elements, the Peter Rickman fan site, Willie the Monkey King, Jim Watari, Squeak a Mouse, Genghis Khan. That is it. Thank you guys for being here. It was a fun show. Thanks for being here, Brian. Bye, guys.
Oh, my pleasure.
Bye.
Those sons of bitches. Ma, I'm doing a show.